Praise be Jesus Christ, now and forever. Books have been written and will continue to be written about why the German people and others so easily accepted the demonic ideology of Nazism and acquiesced, at least by silence, to the multiple atrocities committed in the name of that satanic philosophy. The more pressing question for today, though, is whether something similar could happen again and who will oppose it. Solzhenitsyn famously said that all that happened during the Bolshevik Revolution and after, the mass murder and the loss of human rights greater than the Nazis, but on a less clinical and organized scale, could only have happened because the world had forgotten God. That may appear simplistic, but it's also the heart of the Nazi success, and the reason why a new darkness, perhaps greater even than before, is descending upon the earth. When God is forgotten, humanity and its divine creation and purpose is forgotten. All duties towards the Creator can and are not only forgotten but ignored if the Creator does not exist. The uniqueness of the individual person ceases, and the person becomes a cog in the machine of the state, as in Germany or the Soviet Union, or today, the autonomous individual is himself God, with the ability and freedom to finally fulfill the false promise of Eden, believing the lie of immortality without God. The lie of complete autonomy is behind the slaughter of the innocents across the formerly Christian world through the so-called right to abortion, just as it's now behind the compassionate euphemism of death with dignity or assisted dying. According to the Holocaust Encyclopedia, more than half of all German doctors became members of the Nazi Party between 1933 and 1945. In fact, of all the professions, the medical profession was the most highly represented of all in the Nazi apparatus. The concept, undoubtedly because of the Nazi view of the state as almost a living body, allowed for the development of the idea of disposable people, but there was much in addition to this. Once more, and for today especially, the removal of the uniqueness of the individual made in the image and likeness of God allows for not only the concept, even if not only openly stated, of disposable people, but out of a false compassion of freedom to relieve the suffering, hence euthanasia, or bodily autonomy taken to the extreme, ignoring the other human involved in the womb, hence abortion. My body, my choice is a faithful echo of words said in the garden after falling for the original lie of the deceiver. Who or what will speak for the truth, have the courage to call humanity to its original blessing, and offer light and hope to a world which in the name of freedom and autonomy is actually offering death and darkness? The question, for those of us who are believers, is rhetorical, but not for so many now in the empty shell of a formerly Christian West. The godless world, which has forgotten God and what a human is, needs the gospel, the truly good news, as a man who is desperately lost leads a map. Even more, to use Chesterton, we've not only forgotten the way, but our address. The church, and only the church, is the beacon, the light that speaks the truth, that gives hope, and tells us not only of the glory of God, but the glory of what a human is, a created being who is loved into existence and who is made for eternal life, sharing the very life of God himself. But the church must speak. It must do more than speak. It must do. There is a man for this moment, as with so many of the saints who only speak for a specific time, but who has a message needed perhaps for years and even centuries later. That man is Blessed Clemens von Galen, the Lion of Münster, the bishop who, as the title of his biography states, roared at the Nazis. Bishop von Galen dared to uphold the dignity of the human person when that was denied. He decried the Nazi policy of euthanasia, the so-called mercy killing of the disabled, the mentally handicapped, the disposable people. There are no disposable people in the eyes of God. Speaking at his beatification in Rome on October the 9th, 2005, Pope Benedict XVI, who had witnessed with his own eyes the horrors of Nazism, said that Blessed Clemens made the light of truth shine out in dark times. But he asked a very prescient question, one that makes him a worthy patron for the days we are now enduring. Benedict asked how von Galen could do what he did when even the strong proved weak or cowardly. He answered his own question by saying that von Galen feared God more than men, and it was God who granted him the courage to do and say what others did not dare to say or do. Now is the time for bishops, priests, and people to say and dare to do. Brethren, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary the devil, like a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour.